Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us this far. Thank you for tuning in. I do believe that you're still sending in your feedback. I am on set with an amazing Mutoka Lipuku here to speak to us about SGBV. Karibu sana.
Asante.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm good.
Yeah. It's a beautiful morning.
Thank you.
How's the new year so far?
We are doing well. Thank you.
So far, so this year, some of your resolutions for the year?
To better my life. That is the resolution that I have, and to make sure that we reduce SGBV numbers from where they are. Yes.
I was reading somewhere that you did a research and discovered that the root cause of SGBV is having an unstable state of mind.
Yes. You know, when I started this CBO around 2017, before I registered it, that is, my main aim was to focus on how we can preach the anti-SGBV gospel in our families and in our communities. But then later on, I discovered that preaching the anti-SGBV gospel doesn't stop people from doing it. Because why? We are not dealing with the root cause. And around 2019, that is when I discovered that most of these SGBV cases are caused by people who have very unstable mental health.
Yeah.
Because most of those that we talk to in prisons and in police cells, and those even that had been reconciled in the families, you realize that they will tell you, I had something that was pushing me, I had something that was eating me up, but I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to speak to, and because I was bottling up and trying to act normal, when I wouldn't bottle it up any longer, that's when I burst, and that's the reason why I did what I did. So 80% of SGBV cases that we witness, they are as a result of unstable mental health. Yes.
That is actually sad.
Very.
And I also read that those who actually seek for help tend to get misled or judged.
Yeah, what normally happens is Kenyans, people have not, like, especially in Kenya here, people have not embraced
therapy,
psychological therapy. What we normally do, we have a few friends, or we have a few relatives that we trust most. So if I have a problem, what will happen is that I'll go sit down with my brother maybe, or a friend that I trust most, and tell them that, hey, this is what I'm going through. So because this is a friend that I trust, I will take his or her word as an advice.
Sure.
And then you realize that at the end, this person misadvised you.
Misled
you in a way. So like if you're having issues in the house, you go tell somebody, I have issues with my wife, or I have issues with my husband, this is what is happening, and somebody tells you, hey, mimi bwananga hawezi nifanya hivi, ama bibi hawezi nifanya hivi, if I were you, siwezi stand vitu kama hizi, if I were you, I will do ABCD. And then somebody goes and does that because you have picked this from a trusted friend or a trusted relative. Yes.
And you never know, can you say that you also may never know what intentions the other relatives may have?
They may have. Yes.
Do tell us about your app. You have an app.
Yes, I have an app.
Is this the reason why you came up with the app?
The reason why I came up with the app is that there's so many people I talk to and ask them, now, if you had a problem that you wanted to share, why didn't you look for these psychological counselors and sit them down and tell them, this is what I'm going through mentally, can you help me? And most of them told me that the society has brought us up in a different way. You have a name, right? Because people see you on TV, you have a name. There's a way people see you. So when you go out there maybe to share, they don't expect you to have these problems. So when you go out there to share this, you are like, how are they going to be looking at me after this? So I would rather keep quiet.
Keep my problems to myself.
Or if you are a man like myself, the society requires a man to be tough. You need to be that tough person. the society that we live in does not require a man who cries. So if you go to somewhere and tell somebody that I'm crying because this is what I go through in my house, so there's this aspect of stigmatization.
Yes.
Utakuwa ukitembea and somebody says, you look at this girl, she's so well dressed, but this is what she goes through. So instead of this person actually solving your issue and sitting with it,
they make things worse.
Worse, yes. So most of them will tell me I can't go because I fear people judging me. I also fear being stigmatized. So as an organization, we sat down and thought, now how can we make sure that people access these services, all right, and they are not stigmatized and they are also not judged, and also others will tell you, I do not have that money to go for this psychological therapy, or I do not have that time because of my hustling.
True.
Right? So that's the reason why we sat down and decided to come up with an online app where you can download this app, have it on your phone, and once you subscribe, you can access these services anytime, anywhere you are, and at a cheaper rate.
What is the name of the app?
It is the Nest Mental Healthcare.
The Nest Mental Healthcare.
Yes. The Nest Mental Healthcare. Yeah. It's on Play Store.
It's on Play Store.
Yeah.
App Store.
App Store bado.
Bado unawashughulikia.
Yeah.
What are some of the how do you, if I would like to get access from the Nest Mental Healthcare, am I supposed to subscribe? Is there a fee that I pay? What exactly am I supposed to do so that I can be able to get help?
The first thing you need to do is to download and then register. Once you have registered, then you can log in. If you log in today, for example, you download it today, register and log in, you have the entire day to access our services for free. And then after that, when that free period is expired, then you will be required to subscribe at 250 a week. Yes.
250 a week.
Yes.
How many sessions or how many weeks worth of sessions does an individual need to be able to heal?
This one depends mostly with the patient. We have people who have endured this mental pain for a period of time. It will take them a little bit of time for
you to debrief.
Yes.
Okay.
But we have those who just started and they realize there's this, let me talk to these people. It will also take a shorter period of time. So it depends with the patient. And it also depends with the patient, because you are the one who will feel like, up to this far, I think I have been helped. Yeah. So the doctor or the person who is dealing with you will not decide when you are ending the sessions. It's you
to decide.
To
feel like I'm ready for this now.
Yes.
Do you offer the services anonymously?
Yeah. Remember, one of the things, or one of the major reasons why we came up with this app is to have a way to provide psychological counseling services or therapy without necessarily having these people stigmatized
and
judged.
Okay.
So that's the reason why. So it's anonymous. The person you are dealing, you'll never know the person you're dealing with. And this person will also not know that I'm dealing with this kind of a person. So it's anonymous. Yes.
Before you came up with this app, you held Barrazas and gatherings in schools and in places. Please tell us about how you went about it and some of the findings you got, and also the impact you got from it.
You know, where I live in Kisumu, it's very hard to find men who come out and say, this is what I'm going through, because there's a misconception out here that every other time you talk about sexual and gender-based domestic violence, so many people believe that this is a women thing, and it's a challenge. Every time I go to a gathering and start, like in men's gathering, and you start talking about SGBV, they will tell you, what are you looking for here? Because
that conversation is not welcome here.
Is not for men. It's a conversation for women. But the truth is, men also go through this. And the only reason why you'll not, the statistics are not capturing a lot of men, it's because we do not come out and say that this is what I'm going through in my house. Because you're supposed to be tough. You
the
are
man
supposed
of the
to
house.
be, yes. So women come out so oftenly, and it's seen in women because most of the time women are coming out. It's because they have physical evidence that this person has been done ABCD. But for men, it's mostly mental and emotional, right? For example, you go to a house where mama wa nyumba ni simba. Yeah, you must explain where you're coming from, and if you do not explain where you're coming from, there's a repercussions for that. You will not maybe eat.
In your own house?
Yes. You will not sleep in your bed. You will sleep in the living room. Or if you do, you'll sleep on separate beds for a period of time. Right? So we had to start by carrying out public awareness. You go to border meetings, you sit them down, you talk to them, you tell them that this is what is happening. We know it's happening, but you people do not come out. We go to schools, talk to those students, ask them what they go through. Some we go to colleges, we go to universities. You find that somebody has been in a relationship for, let's say, a month, but they're already having it tough. Yeah, in college, right? So because of this, we started attracting a little bit of people trusting us and coming to us and telling us that this is what is happening.
This is what I'm going through.
And I remember there's a case where there's this lady who got married to a banker after courting for around 7 years. So, and they were married for around, it was their 6th year, but they didn't have a child. So one day, this guy just changed and became hostile and started beating this lady up and anything kidogo tu anamchapa. So when I started this and she heard about what I was doing, she came and we had a conversation. And she told me my husband changed just like 6 months ago. He beats me up. And I asked her, why do you think this happened? Like, I now sat them down. I'm not a psychological counselor, but I had to listen to her story so that I can be able to help. And she opened up and told me, we had a very nice courtship for around 7 years because we started courting when I was in college. And we got married 6 years down the line. We do not have a child. And in our conversation, she mentioned that when they were dating, there's a time she would want money from this guy. And she would say, babe, you made me pregnant when I came visiting. Because this guy used to work in Mombasa. So because the guy trusted this lady so much and he really wanted to marry her, he would help in procuring an abortion. And he did it 4 times. 4 times. Now they are living.
Just in her quest to get money from him.
Yes, 4 times. And now they are married and they do not have a child. They are unable to get a child. So this guy got angry with himself. First, he got angry with himself.
He's blaming himself.
He's blaming himself because he's the one who used to help this lady procure these abortions. Now they are married, they can't get a child. So he got mad at himself, very angry. So anything small that this lady will do will lead into a thorough beating. So when I asked the lady, and did you procure any abortion?
She said no.
She said no.
Do you think that she may have known that she could not conceive?
No, she didn't.
Okay.
She didn't know. So the man is here blaming himself, but the lady has forgotten that she lied at some time that she's procuring an abortion. So when I asked her if she has ever talked to the husband about this, she said she can't. Because even the last one, the husband took her to the hospital. Mwenyewe physically, akampeleka kwa daktari.
For the abortion?
No. To
for
test
checkup. Okay.
if she's pregnant. And she told me she went to the line and talked to a pregnant woman and to convinced her to actually help her with the sample, and it came out positive. So the way she can bring this up with the husband is a little bit tricky. So I had to ask the husband to come. We talked. We had a lengthy talk. And then I told him that your wife lied to you at some point, and he told me actually that is the reason why I get mad at myself.
He knew?
He didn't know. He didn't know that it was a lie. He knew he did it. So when I told him that it was a lie, that is when he told me that that is exactly what makes me angry. I love my wife, but nikifikiria hatuwezi pata mtoto sababu it's me who funded
yes,
the abortions, then it makes me mad. So unaona, such kind of things. You see, this guy had an issue that is burning.
It's been accumulating.
Yes, but he cannot let it out. He cannot speak to anyone.
Because he's a man.
Yes. So today they are living well. They went to the doctor and
they managed to solve their issues.
Yes, they're okay. Yeah. So challenges are there, and especially if you're talking to the people, the native people that I live in, there are things that they believe in.
Yes.
And sometimes to ask them to believe otherwise is a little bit of a challenge. Yes.
Speaking of challenges, what are other than that particular challenge, what other challenges have you faced since the inception of the app? How has it been well received by the society?
Partly yes, partly no. You know, this is Kenya, and in Kenya people are skeptical of everything.
Yes.
You come up with something. I even advertised for jobs. I wanted marketers to help me market the app. And people were like, scam.
What?
It's a scam. So there are those people who are embracing it. Those who would want to, they go online. Once you talk to them about it, they go online, they download and try it, especially now that it has got 1 day that you can be able to access these services for free. Somebody goes and tries it. But there are those who dismiss it outrightly and say, you're in scam. You know, so there are challenges before people embrace this. It's been a challenge. We try to talk to them, but others will accept. Others will say, no, this one apana. Or others will tell you, you're just looking for money. Yeah.
Do you feel like the reception by the society is what you expected it to be when you were creating the app?
Yeah, we were well prepared, because even when I started the CBO, some were like, how do you start a CBO as a man to deal with SGBV?
Well, it's possible.
And they were like, men do not deal with these things. This is a women thing. You know, so when you sit people down and you tell them that I'm doing anti-SGBV programs and all that, they are like, you mad, or you're looking for money. Yeah. So, and even when I started this, the same thing. So these challenges, we are aware they are there. Before we even start, we know they are there, but we just look for ways to make sure that we overcome the challenges. Yes.
So how well is the CBO doing?
We are doing well, because we actually managing, we are meeting the objectives or the reasons why we started the CBO, making sure that there's a total reduction of sexual and gender-based domestic violence cases where we are operating. And also, you know, one of the reasons why you may be mentally unstable, it's because hauna kipato. So we talk to business people back in Kisumu. Those who listen to us sometimes come through, and those who do not have a stable income, and which leads to these sexual and gender-based domestic violence cases, we have helped them. We have put up small businesses for them, something that can bring in
income.
Yes. Kama ni mama, you know, most people that you are dealing with, ni people who are semi-illiterate, people who do not have jobs. They depend on their husbands. They ask for chakula, they ask for mafuta, they ask for everything mpaka kiberiti. Na mzee anachoka, anasema, you should be also doing something.
You have hands, you can do something for yourself.
Now what do you want me to do? Anachapwa.
Shule.
Yes. So instead I teach all these other things. We come through, give them a little bit of something that they can do, and then mzee analeta chakula, anapata mama ako na mboga, vitu kama hizo.
The life moves on.
Yes.
What are some of your plans as a CBO for the rest of the year? What do you have planned out?
We as a CBO, we are hoping and praying that people embrace this app, because through this app we can be able to generate a little bit of some money to make sure that we achieve the original goals of this CBO without necessarily writing to donors and all that. We also would wish to empower as many people as possible, especially in our area of operation, and make sure that also encourage, have a situation where many of us now realizes that if you have a mental issue, you do not need to burst and harm somebody who is closer to you. You can get psychological counseling therapy on this app, and therefore we live in a cohesive society.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does your team comprise of professionally and, kwa ground? Yes.
Professionally, myself, I'm a journalist, although I'm not practicing, I'm teaching. I teach journalism down there. There's so many people that are members. Most of them, we have those who are casual workers elsewhere.
Like in the sense,
yes,
where your team comprises of, do you have nurses? Do you have psychological counselors?
Yeah, if you go on the app, actually, this app is like a social media. It's just like social media where you log in and start chatting, inbox, just like you chat inbox on Facebook or WhatsApp. But now the difference between these and these other social media is that the person you're chatting with is a psychological counselor. So we have a team of psychological counselors who are on that app, and every other time you post something on it, they are willing to help it, and they help you. Yes. So I think that's the professional people that we have. Counselors, mimi mwenyewe kazi yangu ni, I don't know, but
outsourcing for donors. You created the app.
Yes.
But I also wanted to ask the CBO, now since you really want to help people who are going through SGBV, do you have, or would you want to have what do I call it, an outlook of whereby you can help people, like I can come to you with wounds and tell you nimeumia, or you have an ambulance that goes to pick up someone who's been beaten up so badly, that kind of help?
It comes to SGBV, sometimes it's tricky because first there are those who, whenever you go through this, there are those that are severe, you are told to go and report to the police. And once you have reported to the police, now it becomes a police case.
Yes.
So the only way we can come in is maybe to come in and offer the psychological counseling or therapy, and even to the police themselves. And this thing cuts across. In the recent past, you've had a situation where a police opens fire to a loved one and kills others and kills even himself. We've talked to them and asked them. I went to Kisumu and I was talking to a guy and asked him, why don't you go to, because they have a welfare officer who does counseling. These are senior police. How do I go reporting another senior police to
another senior police? Yes.
Whatever frustrations I'm facing, ni za kazi hapa. So if you go report to another senior police, then it's like unaruka kutoka karai unajiangusha kwa
mafuta moto.
Yes.
Moto, yes.
So it's a whole lot of things, but in future we would even want to have a place where we can put those people who are willing. A rescue center, those who are willing, because also this SGBV issue is a little bit tricky. Why? Because you find that people are quarreling. This person goes through a lot of pain because of this sexual and gender-based domestic violence thing.
But they love that person.
They love the person. And if you try to separate them from there and put them somewhere, later on, watu watapatana tu, and they will tell you see, me, I didn't mean to walk out on you. It's because of these people, so it's a tricky thing. You need to handle it.
Then it becomes a cycle of violence.
Yes.
Munahepa
mnarudi. Ama sasa wewe you become the reason why these people are separating.
Yeah.
They love each other, but wewe na kimbelembele yako unajipeleka hapo atakuja
unaharibu.
Yeah. So it's a tricky thing, and we are dealing with it with the care that it deserves. Yes.
As we wind up, what are some of the success stories that you've had from the app, or even from the CBO as well?
The CBO, we have a few people who are earning a living. Kidogo kidogo. It may not be too much, but it has reduced the commotion they used to have in their houses. On the app, looking at the ratings, we have got success stories where people actually, after sessions, they comment or they tell us they were satisfied. You know, when somebody tells you that I was satisfied with the services that you offer, then it makes you feel good because that is the reason why you created it. So we have success stories on both the CBO and even the app.
Now, there's an individual there who's wondering, aside from me downloading the app,
yes,
and aside from me getting help, what other benefits can I get? Can I always come back for advice? Can I always come back again after my previous sessions?
Yeah, because once you have the app, it actually deals with a lot of issues. It's not only SGBV. If you may be lost, you know, when I also started this, I didn't know that it will help me as a person. I used to think that it's for other people until I lost a very close relative and I was unable to heal the way others are doing. So I have been there. I know the psychological counselors do not know that they are counseling their boss.
So it's not only for people who've been going through SGBV.
No. It is for a lot of things. If you are into depression, stress and depression, if you have HIV and AIDS and you think this is the end of me, you can talk to us. If you are into drug and substance abuse, you can talk to us. You can always
come to help.
If you have autism, you know, or you have a kid who has autism, you know, it's also a cause of the same. It also deals with adolescent and teenage pregnancies and all that. It has a whole lot of things that we offer psychological counseling on. It's not only SGBV. And when we talk about SGBV, you do not only need to come there as a victim. You can also come there as a perpetrator. If you've been into this, you are a perpetrator of SGBV and you do not know how to stop it.
You want to stop.
And you want to stop. You can also come there. So it's a whole lot of issues that we are offering psychological counseling services on. It's not only on SGBV. All those things causes SGBV. All those that we are talking about causes SGBV. Ukiwa na mtoto kwa nyumba and this girl gets pregnant, trust you me, it will bring issues between you and your husband.
True.
Your husband will blame you. Mtoto wewe ndo umesababisha hii.
Wewe ndo unalea mtoto vibaya.
Wewe utaambia baba, wewe you are not here. Sasa unanilaumu. And it will bring those commotions. So once it happens, just come and talk to us. Ask us, how am I going to cope with this? How am I going to deal with this? So there are a lot of things that we offer.
It is basically a safe space for everyone who has an issue.
Yes. A mental issue.
Yes. A mental health issue.
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like you to appeal to the people to download the app, as well as call on to donors if you need donors, partners.
Okay. Which camera?
Sponsors.
This one. That one. Okay. My name is Douglas Mutoka, Lipuku. I'm the founder and director of Kisumu Women Nest CBO. Kisumu Women Nest CBO is the mother CBO that mothered the Nest mental health care app. Now, if you're going through any psychological issue, any mental issue that you need psychological counseling on, kindly go on Play Store, download the Nest mental health care, register, and then log in. You have 1 day to access our services for free. But then after that, you will have to subscribe 250 shillings a week. And the government and any other person who feels like you can come on board and help us, we are so much willing. We are so much, our doors are open. Kindly talk to us. Get our contacts on that app, and we'll be so glad to work with you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lipuku.
Thank you.
I'd like to read some feedback. We will be coming back with feedback after a short break. Do be sure to tune in. Thank you so much. Download the app, The Nest Mental Health Care. Yes. The Nest Mental Health Care app. Download that app for yourself, for your loved ones, to be able to gain some help and to gain some momentum, to take care of their mental health. I will be coming back after a short break with a feedback. Tune in.